a remarkable turnaround for Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United this season. He has signed a new contract to keep him at the club until June 2031. The 21-year-old has really enjoyed a renaissance under Michael Carrick, having fallen out of favour under Ruben Amorim. He's now made 98 appearances for the club. He's been associated with United since the age of 6. Jody, I mean, you know, a new long-term deal for a player who it looked like might even leave the club when he wasn't really getting a game under Amorim, which sort of begs the question, what was Amorim not seeing that Michael Carrick certainly has?
I think that's, if you're talking about one of the biggest question marks over someone in the last couple of years in the Premier League, and how this manager was overlooking the kid. I mean, you only need to look at what Kobbie Mainoo done at such a young age, even for England. For England, playing unbelievable. He's played in cup finals for Man United, been man of the match at such a young age, looking so accomplished. I remember seeing him, I think it was like his second or third appearance. I think he played away at Everton and absolutely ran the show as like an 18-year-old. And I just couldn't believe it. And I sat here many a time and was questioning, I don't know what Ruben Amorim's doing. We can talk about his system and stuff like that, but how you just ignored this kid. Now listen, there are some moments when you go, we don't know what's going on at the training ground, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there was very little before Ruben Amorim to suggest this kid was not putting it in. Whenever you see him play or doing his interview, he seemed like a lovely kid, and some of the stuff he's done for Man United since Michael Carrick's taken over, I mean, Michael Carrick deserves credit for it, but I've got to say, I think if you asked 99% of Man United fans and most football fans up and down the country, they'd have gone, how is Kobbie Mainoo not getting any game time? So as much as, listen, you have to put him in first and then he needs to produce as a young player, but I think it was one of the things that was baffling most people in football. To just ignore him the amount of times that he did, it'd be a little bit different if he was playing for a City or something. Sometimes we've questioned City or Chelsea when they was really successful, maybe not playing some of the young kids. But Man United were having an absolute horrendous spell under Amorim, and he still couldn't get a look in. And the people playing in his position were playing extremely poorly as well. So I think it's a great move, not just from people like Jason Wilcox and Man United, but it's great for the fans as well. There's nothing better than seeing a homegrown talent take the pitch, take the field, for your club, and someone who supports them and been there from such a young age. It's only right that he signed a new long-term deal for me.
What about England? You mentioned, you know, he burst onto the scene. He's played in the final already, I think, for England, but he did play in the last game against Japan, which they lost. What about his place in the England squad? Is he a shoo-in for this summer or not?
Well, again, this is what happens at the top end of football. You've got a manager that doesn't fancy you, so he takes you out of the team. You then got an England manager that's going, I can't pick you because you ain't playing. And in that time, it has to be said, people like Elliot Anderson has come to the forefront and produced someone who they might be looking to maybe play with him next year. But for me personally, I think Mainoo should make the squad. Whether he should start or not is another question, but that's what can happen in football when you've been ignored for an amount of time, where when you've got other good players in your position, they can come in and do a job and produce, like I said, Elliot Anderson, Wharton. They'll all be vying for a space. But as I said, since Michael Carrick's been in, there's not many that have played better than him for Man United.
Yeah, he is certainly staking his claim, isn't he, for a place on the plane this summer. Staying with Manchester United, because we talk about the turnaround for Mainoo. What a turnaround for United, full stop. You go back to 6 months ago, 14th in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim, now sitting third, 9 wins from their last 13 games. And we've sat down with United midfielder Mason Mount, who spoke to us about their resurgence under Carrick, the club's aims for Europe, his own form, and his England ambitions too.
You come here in a really good moment as well, in what has been a really positive end to the season at Manchester United. Talk about Michael Carrick, Bruno Fernandes having an incredible season, Casemiro scoring goals, and you're fit and very much a part of it. How do you assess the last few weeks and months? Because it was a challenge at the beginning, but certainly this is the Manchester United right now that people recognise and expect to see week in, week out.
Yeah, I think we're in a really good spell. It's not been like that throughout the season. There's been up and downs, but I think the kind of character that we've shown we always knew there was something there. There's the ability there to kind of really finish the season strong. And obviously Michael coming in, I think he's been brilliant, and we've really been pushing as a team to get where we belong in the league, and that's right at the top. So yeah, it's been amazing, but we just need to finish the season off strong now.
You talk about Michael Carrick being really effective. What's he done? Why is this Manchester United side very different from the one perhaps 6 months ago?
I think you can see the way we play. I think he's someone, as we know, who's been there and done it, and knows the club inside out, knows what the fans really want to see. And I think, yeah, it's been brilliant. I'm a massive fan of him and the way he is, not just as a manager but as a person as well. Easy to speak to, and yeah, he's been brilliant. And as you can see on the pitch, everyone's been enjoying it. But it's not done yet. We've still got a few more games left to really solidify this run that we've had.
I'll talk about the Champions League qualification in a moment, but Michael Carrick, ex-Manchester United midfielder, you're a current Manchester United midfielder. How much has he been able to enhance your game, develop you as a player, and really hopefully take you to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, a world-class player. I remember watching him a lot when I was younger. He's still got it now. You can see in training when he
He
gets involved, yeah, a little bit.
Does it feel right, Manchester United, Michael Carrick head coach? Does that just connect with the team, with the fan base, with the current form?
Yeah, I mean, it's not down to me to make that decision, but I think as players we're really enjoying our football, and I think that's the most important thing. We're enjoying the football. We want to play football, and we want the fans to enjoy it, and we want to win games. That's the most important thing, and at the end of it, the goal is to obviously qualify for the Champions League, because that's what the fans deserve. That's what the club deserves. As I said, to be as high up as possible, and having them Champions League nights at Manchester United.
I want to talk to you about your teammates, and one person in particular, the skipper, Bruno Fernandes. Now, he's one assist away from equaling Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne's record of Premier League assists in a season. Does he talk about it in the dressing room?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't?
No, he doesn't, actually.
Do the lads talk about it?
Yeah, we talk about it. We say it to him now and again. No, Bruno's the ultimate professional. I think first and foremost he wants to win the game, and as the captain, he'll do anything possible to get that to happen. I think maybe in the back of his mind it's there, but I think for him, as I said, it's not about individual accolades really. I don't get that sense from him. I think he'll do everything for us to win, for us to finish as high as we can. So yeah, I think I said to him actually when he got the assist after the game, I said, "You're not going to shoot." Just kind of jokingly to him, like, "Could you always shoot? You'd always shoot that. Or are you passing it now?" And he kind of laughed, and he's like, "No, Ben was open. The defender kind of blocked the shot." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right."
Obviously, huge game at the weekend. Manchester United at home to Liverpool. You went to Anfield earlier in the season and won. You've been involved in 3 of these big games, United, Liverpool. What are they like? Why are they so separate to perhaps other matches that you faced during the course of a season?
Yeah, they're special. I mean, you can just see the history of the game, what's happened in the past, and the big moments. They really stand out, and I think, yeah, the one obviously at Anfield that we played this season, started the game really quick. Brian gets the opening goal, and it's never easy there. The fans get up, and it's never easy to kind of hold the lead or play comfortable against them. I'm sure it'll be the same next game. So yeah, but we'll be ready.
Here we are at St George's Park. I said at the beginning of the interview, 36 caps for England. Hopefully a fair few more to come as well.
Yeah.
Maybe not this summer. I guess there's 2 parts to the question. That will hurt because you want to be in Thomas Tuchel's World Cup squad. You want to be playing on the biggest stage of all. And those ambitions, I guess, they get fired when you're not involved in squads, and you think, no, I want to be back in that setup. I want to play for my country.
100%. Playing for your country is one of the biggest accolades you can have as a footballer. So when you're not in the squad, it hurts. Definitely. I mean, I've had both experiences of going to a Euros and obviously a World Cup, and being around that is such a special occasion, and you never take it for granted for 1 second. As I said, when you're not in the squad and you're watching, it is difficult. But for me, I've been an England player, but I'm an England fan. I grew up watching teams when I was younger, and yeah, if I'm not there, we'll be supporting the lads, supporting the manager to go and get the job done. But yeah, I'll be. We don't know obviously this summer, but I'll be ready for next season. As you said, fired up, and I want to get back in. That's definitely a goal of mine to get back into the national team. So yeah, got some work to do.
What's Mason Mount's one wish between now and when you retire? If we could give you one guarantee, one trophy, one accolade, one thing.
It's a tough one, yeah. I'd say the Premier League.
Yeah? Premier League with Manchester United?
Yeah.
That's the one wish?
The Premier League, yeah. And I think we can do it. That's definitely... I dreamt of that as a kid. I dreamt of winning the Champions League. And yeah, to win the Premier League, a domestic title, not many get to say they've done that. And I think, yeah, next season, it could be a possibility if we keep working hard. You never know. I think a few results that didn't go our way this year, and we find ourselves in third position. So I think there's obviously a long way to go and a lot of hard work to do over the off season and in pre-season. But yeah, that'll be a special goal.
Yeah, really interesting chat like with Mark McAdam and Mason Mount. And first of all, Jody, I mean, you know him well. Speaking from a charity day in connection with Make-A-Wish for 11 young football fans who are living with critical illness. And as I say, you know him, I suppose a measure of the man to give his support to such an important cause.
He's a great kid, and I say kid just because I keep thinking of him as a young lad at Chelsea, but he's grown into a quality young man. I always knew he was going to be that. He comes from a good stock, like real good family around him, and these sort of things don't surprise me at all. He's always been one of the first ones that would give up his time for your charities and any kids at the training ground and stuff like that. He's always great with them, so it doesn't surprise me one bit.
You've spoken to us before about the way his departure from Chelsea to Manchester United played out. He's had bad luck with injuries since he moved to Old Trafford. How sort of disappointed have you been for him for the way it's worked out in the last couple of years? Yeah,
really disappointed. And I get asked about Mason quite a lot, obviously, just because of the relationship I had with him. But that's been my biggest disappointment, is just that he's had such a big move from the club that he spent so long at, and then not being able to really showcase what he's capable of because of... You get players that sometimes get injuries early in their career, some that it's spread out over the course of their career, and you can be really unlucky like he was. The minute you get a move and all of a sudden they seem to all come at once. Because he was... One of the good things you liked about him is always available to train, always available to play. Would put in a shift in both of those things as well, every time. So yeah, all I hope for Mace is that he can stay injury-free to get back to the level that he's capable of performing at, because you simply can't do that when you're on the treatment table.
And if he can stay injury-free and he can get more minutes for Manchester United, he talked about his England hopes and his aspirations. Is there still a way back for him with England?
Yeah, I think that when you're someone that's got the qualities that he has, there's always going to be a way back if you perform to the level that people know you're capable of. Now, we know Thomas Tuchel knows about his qualities extremely well because he won the Champions League and was Player of the Year for him that year. So you imagine that if he was playing week in, week out and performing, then he would have had a good shot at making that squad. But like I said earlier about the Kobbie Mainoo, and you can get sliding doors moments when you're left out of teams or you're injured and other people step up, it then becomes harder to then get back in. And at the moment, it's going to be hard to get back into the Man United team. So